Welcome back. In the last video, you have learned how to write conditions, nested if conditions, nested if, else if, all those things, right? So in this video, we'll see how to write if conditions in a single line. In a single line. What do I mean by this? If I want to write a condition in a single line without having multiple lines, you can use this. But how can I do that? Yes, that is possible by using something called as ternary operator. How it is possible? How can we write a ternary? How can you use a ternary operator? Let me show that. But before that, if I want to specify, or if I want to do any conditions in my general life or in general example, how do I take it? For example, let me take the previous example itself. Something like this. You'll be allowed to class only if you have done your task, or else no. Okay, this is my simple statement. So I'll write like this. You are allowed to class if task is done. Right? If task is done. Right? Else not allowed. Right? So this is how we can just speak in English, right? Right? We can say you are allowed to class. You are allowed to class if task is done. Else not allowed. This is how we speak English, right? This is how you can actually define a statement. Of course, I can define this particular statement in different ways, but let's assume this is how you can write it. Exactly same way I can write my code in Python, because I already told you the way you speak English, the way you write code in Python. Okay. So exactly same way, how did I frame the sentence here? Exactly same way I can write your code. Okay. I'll take a small example for this. Let's assume I'm having two variables A and B. Okay. Which is maybe around 10 and 20. Okay. Two variables are 10 and 20. Okay. And I want to know which is maximum. I want to find out the maximum of A and B. So look at the syntax here. What I'm saying, you are allowed to class if task is done, else not allowed. So I'll just say, if I want to uh, create this kind of statement in terms of what I told right now, I can say like this: A, if A is greater than B. Just carefully observe. So I'm saying A if A is greater than B, else B. So what I'm telling here is, see, you're allowed to class if task is done. So I'm saying, maybe I'll write print. Okay. Print A if A is greater than B, else B. So what happens? It is printing 20 because you're printing 20. Or you can write like this. Let me put in quotes. Okay. I want to find the variable name. Okay. I want to find out the variable name. So I'll just say A if A is greater than B, or else B. So you can see you're getting B, or you can say like this: A is greater, okay, and B is greater, okay. So what I'm doing right now is, you can see, print A is greater if A is greater than B. So carefully observe the way I'm writing my code. No need of print also right now. I can just directly like this, write like this, okay. So A is greater than, if A is greater if A is greater than B, else B is greater. So you can see the way I'm writing the code. You are allowed to class if task is done. A is greater if A is greater than B, else B is greater. Simple. I got B is greater. So this is how you can write a ternary operator in a simple way. Okay. And also, what if I want to uh, write multiple statements like nested else? Means right now it is only checking whether A is greater or B is greater. For example, if I make A as 30, obviously I'll be getting A is greater. But what if I want to check for equal to condition? Or for example, if I say like this 30 comma 30, then I'll be getting only B is greater because I'm having only else. But what I want to go with nested list, nested else in ternary operator. Yes, you can also do that. Okay, let me show you. Okay, so A is greater if A is less, A is greater than B, that's fine. Else B is greater. But if I want to make it for equal to condition also, then I'll just do like this. So I'll just copy this, and here I'll just do a small changes. Okay, A is greater if A is greater than B. Here I cannot use elif, but what I can do is A is greater if A is greater than B, else B is greater if B is greater than A. You can assume like it's a nested if. So inside else you can write, you're writing a if. So else B is greater if B is greater than A, else B equal to A. B equal to A. So what I'm doing here, you can assume like this. Okay, first A is greater if A is greater than B, else B is greater only if B is greater than A. So you can see here, and else B equal to A. So you can see right now I got B equal to A because A and B are equal. So like this, you can write nested conditions also in this particular ternary operator and make a multiple condition. So this will be helping you to make your code more smaller and more optimized whenever you're working with high level of code by using a single line conditions in this way. And this kind of conditions is most common in functions like lambda functions you'll be learning in future. So yes, so this is how the ternary operator works.